Today we're talking about cross-training and how to use it effectively in your schedule. So first off, what is cross-training? Cross-training is kind of any sport activity that you do besides your primary sport that still either helps you build fitness or recover. So it can range anywhere from, if you're a runner, jumping on a bike, going for a bike ride, working on an elliptical, to even things like shoveling snow, raking leaves. There's so many different things that you can do where you're physically active and you're not running. So that's kind of the big general category of cross-training. To kind of really dial things in to what we're talking about here today, we're looking at more kind of training-focused cross-training. So somewhere where you're actually doing a structured workout with a specific goal, not just being active and moving your body. So I like to divide that into two main categories. So we've got the sport-specific cross-training and the system-specific cross-training. So first off, we'll talk about sport-specific and then we'll move on. So I'll move this off to the side so you don't get distracted. Sport-specific cross-training, the most important thing with this is we can use it kind of as a way to add volume to our training without adding injury risk. And so what we want to do with sport-specific cross-training is we want to make sure it's a similar movement. So as a runner, you want to make sure it's some type of movement where you're using your muscles in the same way as if you were running. So as examples down at the bottom here, we've got things like pool running, alter G, ski mountaineering. All of those, you're moving your legs and arms in a very running-like motion. But the big difference between these three things and regular running is that they're all low impact. So we're taking away that impact. That's one of the big areas where injury risk occurs when you're running, is with the pounding that happens over time. So if you can replace a little bit of your running or supplement with a bit of extra cross training, you can keep a little bit higher training volume with a little bit lower injury risks because you're taking away some of that pounding, some of that impact. So low impact and similar movements, that's our sport-specific cross training. Then moving on from there, we've got our system-specific cross training. So I'll scoot over a little bit. So with the system-specific cross-training, we want to have something that's going to be a similar intensity to the running. So metabolically, you want to get your heart going. You want to be kind of working in a similar zone that you would if you were to go out for a run. Again, we want to make sure that our system-specific cross-training is low impact. But the difference with system-specific versus sport-specific is this point here, and that's that system-specific cross-training is a different movement. So you're out there, you're moving in a different plane, you're moving your body in a different way, you're using different muscles than if you were just running. So that's things like if you were to go skate skiing, you're using a lot more kind of glutes, glute med, and pushing legs out to the side, and then you're using your upper body and your core in a very different motion than you would if you were running. But you're still working at kind of a similar intensity than if you were to go for a run. Same thing with cycling. You're using your legs in a different pattern, and then same thing with rowing. You're still, if you were to jump on a rowing machine, you're going to work at a similar intensity. You're getting your heart going, you're working with your lungs, your cardiovascular system is going. It's low impact, but you're doing a very different movement. So both of these are really, really important aspects of kind of a well-balanced cross-training program. System-specific stuff, you're training your metabolic systems that you would use when you're running. But you're mixing up and using a different type of movement, which is really good for kind of variety and avoiding overtraining where you're doing the same cyclical type of running motion over and over and over again. The sport-specific cross-training is going to train up kind of all those specific muscles that you use when you're running, but you're doing it in a slightly different fashion that's lower impact and allows you to add more of it with a little bit less injury risk. So two main types of cross-training that you can use. Both of them are great. You want to make sure that you're using a little bit of both because just doing this is going to be very similar to running. Just doing this isn't going to get you those running specific benefits. You want to make sure you use a little bit of both, mix it up, and just find something that's low impact and kind of satisfies some of the rest of these categories. The other thing too with cross training is you want to make sure that you enjoy it. If you absolutely hate what you're doing for the cross training, you're not going to want to do it. So find something that's interesting, find something that's enjoyable, and it's a great way to supplement your training and avoid some injury risk.